Welcome to the SUNY Potsdam Library's tutorial on the CRAAP test. In this video, we'll take a look at this resource for evaluating the content and quality of sources for your research. The CRAAP test was created by Sarah Blakesley, a librarian at the University of California, Chico, and yes, she chose the acronym on purpose, because who's going to forget something called the CRAAP test? It's a simple and easy to remember set of steps that you can run a potential source through to determine if the information it contains is trustworthy and worthwhile, or if you'd be better off finding a different one. CRAAP stands for currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. Within these 5 traits are the major aspects of each research source, and they answer both whether, in general, the source contains trustworthy, correct, and timely information, and also, more specifically, whether this source is appropriate for the needs of your own research assignment. Now let's go through each of the 5 steps. These slides contain points to consider about your sources, so feel free to pause the video at any point to jot them down. But all are contained in a PDF you can download from the library's website, the location of which can be found at the conclusion of the video. Currency deals with the timeliness of the information. Is this a new source or a really old one, or is it somewhere in between? And it also asks whether your research project requires new sources. When evaluating the currency of a source, ask these questions about it. When was it published or posted online? Has it been updated or revised since that time? Does your topic require current information, or will older sources work for your research? And for online sources, are the website's links functional, indicating that the site is up to date and being maintained regularly? When dealing with currency, it's important to remember that some fields, such as nursing, engineering, and computer science, change constantly, and you'll always want the most recent research. Some professors in those fields may even require sources to be very new, perhaps no more than 2 or 3 years old. Other fields, however, like history or English, change more slowly, so you might be able to use older sources. Relevance deals with the importance of the information for your needs. This is all about your particular research project. Does this source really concern the subject you're writing about? When evaluating a source's relevance, ask these questions about it. Does the information relate to your topic or answer your research question? Who is the intended audience of the source? Is the information at an appropriate level for your need? That is, not too elementary, like written for children, but not too advanced, so you can't really understand it. Have you looked at a variety of sources before determining this is one you want to use? And would you be comfortable citing this source in your research paper? If you're not getting satisfactory answers when it comes to the relevance of this source for your topic, you probably want to move on and find another source to replace it. And of course, it's always important to look at multiple sources before settling on the ones you plan to use, so you're sure you're finding the best ones for your needs. Authority focuses on the source of the information. Who wrote this thing? Are they someone who has expertise on the subject, and thus someone who's worthy of your trust? When looking at the authority of a source, ask yourself the following questions. Who is the author of this source? Or, if no author is listed, who's its publisher or sponsor? In short, where did this information come from? What are the author's credentials or organizational affiliations? Is the author qualified to write on this topic? Is there contact information, such as a publisher or email address? And for online sources, does the URL tell you anything about the author? For instance, a .edu address indicates a university or some other educational institution, and a .gov address indicates a governmental agency. While this isn't always the case, often sources from those sites carry greater authority and trustworthiness than a commercial .com site that anybody can post on. It's always worthwhile to do some checking on the author of sources in order to ensure that they're actually an expert in the field and aren't just some random person on the internet or an enthusiast who lacks expertise on the subject. For more information on issues of authority, check out SUNY Potsdam's tutorial video on academic authority. Accuracy deals with the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of the content. While authority asks if the author of the source is worthy of trust, accuracy looks at the actual material contained in the source itself. When assessing it, ask these questions. Where does this information come from? Is the information supported by evidence? Has the information been reviewed or refereed, such as through peer review? Can you verify any of the information in another source or from your personal knowledge? Does the language or tone seem unbiased, objective, and free of emotion? And are there spelling, grammar, or typographical errors, which are instant indications of a questionable source? As I'm sure you know, there's a lot of inaccurate or downright false information floating around on the internet these days, so checking for accuracy is particularly essential when looking at online sources. You always want to be sure that the information you're using for a research assignment in college is accurate and truthful. For more information on this process, take a look at the SUNY Potsdam Library's Fake News Research Guide, found at library.potsdam.edu/fake-news. Finally, purpose deals with the reason the information exists. Why has this source been created and made public in the first place? When examining a source, ask yourself the following questions. What is the purpose of this information? Is it to inform or teach, or is it to sell something, to entertain, or to persuade its audience? Does the author of the source make their intentions clear about the purpose of this information? Is the information fact, or is it opinion, or even propaganda? Does the source's point of view appear to be objective and impartial, or is it clearly biased? And are there political, ideological, cultural, religious, institutional, or personal biases contained within this information? You should always aim to find the least biased sources possible because they will be the most trustworthy. If a source has an agenda, or the creator of it is too invested in one side of an issue, the source will likely be slanted, with information cherry-picked to prove its biased claims. Objective sources, on the other hand, don't operate with such an agenda, and instead they allow the evidence to lead them to their conclusions, and those are the sources you want to use. So that's the CRAAP test, a quick, easy, and worthwhile measure of the quality of research sources. As you can see on this slide, the SUNY Potsdam Library has a handy rubric that you can find on our Fake News Research Guide. Again, that's library.potsdam.edu/fake-news that helps you use the CRAAP test to judge your sources. And you'll also find a downloadable PDF of the entire CRAAP test itself on that Fake News Guide as well. And if you ever have any questions about the CRAAP test, or need a bit of help applying any of its steps to one of your sources, your SUNY Potsdam librarians will be more than happy to help you.